Now, Larry Wilmore was pretty tough on CNN when he was the comedian at the White House Correspondents dinner. He was tough on everybody. In fact, the room was very uncomfortable because Wilmore kept pressing the issue, which is exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a comic. He really took it to him. Obama is very popular in the room because he tweaks the press. Like, he playfully jokes about them. And they're like, oh, the president mentioned me. And he didn't really hit me. He just tweaked me, right? Well, Wilmore came in, threw the gloves off, and was like, all right, let's go. And he went after CNN, saying that they're basically a so-called news network. Ooh, right? He went after Wolf Blitzer and him droning on. They went to Wolf Blitzer. That was my favorite part of the whole dinner. They go to Wolf Blitzer reaction. He's like, on the other hand, when does Wolf Blitzer not look like that? Right? Which was, by the way, the point that Wilmore was making. So way to prove him right. Then he went after Don Lemon. Just give you a taste of the way that he went after these guys. Let's show you that joke.
You know, I should say some of America's finest black journalists are here tonight. Don Lemon's here, too. Hey, Don, how's it going? Alleged journalist Don Lemon, everybody.
Damn. Now, actually, Don Lemon afterwards was a pretty good sport, even though he gave him the middle finger there. He went and took pictures with him. And now, in a Mediaite exclusive, it turns out that Don Lemon invited Larry Wilmore on the show, but Wilmore was not allowed to come on. So let me give you their reporting. Mediaite learned that Wilmore was scheduled to appear on Lemon's show the evening of Wednesday, May 4th, a few days after the speech. But that appearance was abruptly canceled by a CNN producer shortly beforehand under the guise of needing to cover politics and to focus on the Indiana primary, which had ended more than 24 hours earlier. Wilmore was never rescheduled. Now, I know a thing or two about cable news, and since I was on there, both as a guest host, and then as a host on MSNBC, I know that they literally have blacklists. I don't mean that kind of blacklist. I mean people who are not allowed on air. And we would talk about it. And sometimes I would want to guess, and they would say, no, they're on the no-go list, the blacklist, right? So it's not a conspiracy theory. Those lists exist. The question is whether Larry Wilmore's on one of those lists. Mediaite has a source that says that he is. So you could believe that, not believe that, but they are reporting it. And based on my experience, I am not at all surprised by that. I mean, you're telling me right after the White House Correspondents dinner, Larry Wilmore would not have made an interesting guest on CNN? It would have been a good quote-unquote get, and people would have tuned in, right? They would have tuned in at that point. They certainly would have tuned in online. My guess is that the executives canceled it because, well, if you allow Wilmore to have another shot at the mic, he might say those things on our air. Can't have it. So later in Mediaite's story, they explain it's also crystal clear to all involved that a very senior CNN executive or executives decided that they did not want Larry Wilmore on their air after the skewering he inflicted on the network. Man, they are touchy, aren't they? Now, if he was just joking and there's no validity to his jokes about how you guys are not a real news network, well, you wouldn't mind at all. We'd all have a good laugh over it, right? Apparently CNN's not laughing anymore because that one kind of hurt. Kind of touched home. So, in essence, it appears they did not want Larry Wilmore to come back on there and explain how they're not the most trusted name in news, they're the most busted name in news. So, no more Larry Wilmore on CNN. Damn. And that's how the real world works. So, gee, I wonder how CNN lost the trust of its audience. Can't quite tell. Young Turks.